When you think of the Maya, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's that one famous date, 2012. But the real story of this incredible civilization is so much more than just a misread calendar. So let's kick things off with that big question, the one that totally captured the world's imagination.
Right? This is the question that just took over pop culture. For years, everybody was buzzing about this supposed Mayan doomsday prophecy. It was in movies, it was in books, it was everywhere. But the real question is, did they actually say it? Well, the short answer is a big, resounding no. And honestly, what's so cool about this is that the truth behind the myth reveals a way of looking at the world that is far more complex and fascinating than any apocalypse theory. So you gotta ask, how did the whole world get it so wrong? Well, it all comes down to a massive misunderstanding of their incredibly sophisticated calendars. This is the perfect way to think about it. Remember all the panic about Y2K? That's exactly what this was like. The Mayan long count calendar was just ending one great cycle. Think of it like a cosmic odometer rolling over. And a new one was about to begin. It was a time for celebration, not for panic. And see, this gets right to the heart of how they saw the universe. For the Maya, time wasn't some straight line heading toward a final cliff. It was a circle, a wheel. Everything, the seasons, life, the stars, it all operated in endless cycles. An ending was always just the start of a new beginning. The idea of a final one-and-done end of the world, it just didn't make sense in their philosophy. Okay, so if they weren't doomsday prophets, who were the real Maya? Well, for starters, they were master engineers who built a thriving civilization in one of the toughest environments on the planet. Just picture this for a second. You're trying to build cities in a hilly, dense jungle with almost no rivers or lakes in sight. And to top it all off, the ground itself is porous limestone, which means any rain just sinks right through it. How on earth do you support huge populations? With pure genius, that's how. They took the stone quarries they were already digging for their buildings and turned them into these massive underground reservoirs. Then they figured out how to waterproof them with plaster. And then, and this is the incredible part, they added water lilies because they knew the plants would naturally purify the water and keep it clean. We're talking about pioneers in biological water purification thousands of years. But their brilliance wasn't just practical. It was intellectual, it was cultural. So let's look at two things that really defined their sophisticated society: their one-of-a-kind writing system and their surprising choice of currency. Now you can just see the difference here, right? Unlike that sharp, wedge-shaped cuneiform the Sumerians pressed into clay, the Mayan script was painted. This allowed for these beautiful, fluid, incredibly complex glyphs that were part picture, part idea, and part sound, all rolled into one. And this is a monumental achievement. Let that sink in. Alongside scripts from Sumeria, Egypt, and China, the Maya developed their writing completely from scratch. No outside influence. It's just a stunning testament to their intellectual creativity. And for their economy, forget gold. They used cacao beans. Yeah, you heard me right. Chocolate was literally money. The drink they made from it, though, wasn't some sweet treat. It was reserved for rulers and nobles, and they often spiced it up with chili peppers. Their entire world was just epic. It was built around these towering pyramids and deeply held beliefs that shaped everything, from life and death to how they handled their rivalries. Okay, so this clears up a huge misconception. While Egyptian pyramids were basically built from the ground up as giant tombs, Mayan pyramids were active temples. They were places for living rulers to perform ceremonies, to get closer to their gods. The tomb was often added later, almost as a secondary thought. You know, the Maya lived in these independent, often rival city-states. But instead of always launching into all-out war, they sometimes settled things on the court. They essentially invented the first team sport in history. And to even play it, they first had to invent rubber. They figured out how to get latex from trees to create a bouncy ball. The game itself was incredibly hard. Players had to smack this heavy ball with their hips, shoulders, and knees, trying to get it through a crazy high stone loop. Now, you've probably heard that the losers, or sometimes even the winners, were sacrificed. It's a dramatic image for sure, but the truth is, we don't really know. The archaeological evidence just isn't clear enough to say this was a common thing. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of their story. The popular narrative always talks about the mysterious collapse of the Maya, as if they just vanished into thin air. But they didn't.
Sure, around the 8th century, those great southern cities were abandoned. And yeah, in the 1500s, the Spanish conquered the remaining Mayan groups. But conquered is not the same thing as extinct.
6 million? Just let that number sink in. That's the estimated number of Mayan descendants alive today. They aren't a lost civilization. They are a living, breathing one. They live in communities all throughout Mexico and Guatemala, and they proudly identify as Maya. And their culture is alive and well, with around 20 distinct Mayan languages still spoken today.
And that's the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? It echoes their own worldview. The Maya never disappeared. Their political system changed, their great cities were reclaimed by the jungle, but the people and their culture, they adapted, they survived, they began a new cycle. Their story is one of incredible resilience.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we could get the story of a civilization as famous as the Mayas so wrong, focusing on a fake prophecy instead of their actual genius, what other histories out there have we completely misunderstood?